Here are top 5 schools that has the most difficult admission process or admission model in Nigeria. I'm going to list the 5 of them, and I'm also going to tell you the reason. So if your school falls amidst these 5, then you need to pay attention to the key things I am going to be mentioning in this video. Now, the 5th school, starting from the last, is University of Lagos. Now, University of Lagos admission process is simply them using O level. They use your JAM and you also do exam. The fact that you'll be doing exam is what actually makes it a bit tough. As a matter of fact, if you don't do well in the exam, it can jeopardize your chances naturally. The fourth is the University of Ilorin. They use the same model or process just like UNILAG, right? Typically, they use your JAM, they use your O-level results, and they also do post-UTME. But why UNILORIN is a bit tougher than UNILAG is simply because UNILAG exam seems to be a bit predictable. When I mean predictable, I'm not saying you are predicting the question. I'm just simply talking about the structuring of the question. But unlike UNILORIN just bring out questions from anywhere and they expect you to do it. In fact, sometimes they randomize your general paper to be much more than your maths. Sometimes your maths is much more than your English, and that is what actually makes it a bit difficult. Now, to the third, UNIZIK and UNN. UNIZIK and UNN very similar in the modality or the process in which they calculate the grade or they do the admission processing. They typically use just your O level and your JAM result. And why it is a bit difficult with these two schools is simply because your O level does not count with them, right? They majorly give high priority to your JAM score. In fact, your O level sometimes you have all A's. It typically cannot even be more than 10% as far as UNIZIK and UNN is concerned. Now to the second most difficult school to get access to that has a tough admission process is UI. UI is tough. Why? Simply because you do exam. And the funny thing about UI exam is the fact that it is not a JAM standard exam. It is a tough exam that really separates men from boys. So most of the time, I recommend to students that are not so solid or you cannot prepare so hard for UI exam. I just advise you to avoid UI. It's not even by you having 300 plus in UI exam. I've seen students have good JAM score and they went to do UI exam. They couldn't even get 50%. That shows you how serious it is. So if you're a UI student or a UI prospect, you want to pay attention to this. And guess what? To the first most difficult school to have access to by the admission processing or by the way they do the admission processing is Obafemi Awolowo University. Now, sit tight. Let me tell you something about OAU. Now, OAU do exam. They would surely also use your O level and they also use your JAM. Now, what they typically do here is you will do exam. Aside from doing exam, they will also add that exam result with what you have in your O level. Join it together. If you don't meet up with the cumulative aggregate, which they set generally for this particular situation, they will not even consider you for admission, right? That simply means you have to pass OAU exam. It is compulsory. If you don't pass OAU exam, no go area. And aside the fact that they will set a cumulative after the exam has been done, you will also need to meet up with the departmental cutoff. Crazy, right? That is OAU for you. That is why I tell students that if you know you don't have a very strong JAM result and also solid in the preparation of OAU exam, don't even go near schools like that. I hope this video will help someone somewhere out there. You want to save it for reference purpose and you also want to share it with your friends and family. If videos that will help you to gain admission this year is what you want to be seeing on your timeline, just hit the follow button.